Good morning, beautiful people. I am super grateful to be able to speak to each of you this morning about the many, many ways that Countryside Church has helped my family and I. Probably would need a couple of hours, but I had to shorten it a bit, so we'll go from there. Before I launch into that, I'll give you a little bit of an intro for those of you that don't know me. I joined the church in 2014 after my good friend Michelle encouraged me 2 or 3 different times to come and check out the congregation, and I was very hesitant because of some pretty aversive experiences with past churches that I belonged to, but I finally came one Sunday. I sat over there somewhere, and Reverend Hillary was delivering her sermon, and I remember crying because I knew I was where I was meant to be, and I hadn't probably ever had that feeling in this lifetime, and that was really significant to stay away from a congregation for so long. Yet I knew I was spiritually starved and I needed that to be nurtured, and that's what Countryside has done for me over the years. I eagerly continued to come to the Pathways to Membership class, morning services, and I also joined the Feminine Divine group. Any of us are out there today, but it's a wonderful group of intelligent women. We study different books and have pretty deep conversations. And then my children were also involved in the religious education programming here. In September of last year, my family endured a great tragedy, which I'm not going to go into, to avoid causing vicarious trauma. I lost my son, Austin, and my daughter was hospitalized for about a month and a half. Thankfully, I have done a great job of building strong communities around myself over the years, and this church was one of the biggest ones. Our newly hired interim minister reached out to me to see how the church could help me through the most difficult time I've ever been through, along with cards and calls and messages and an outpouring of love and support from the congregation. For me, due to various types of trauma that I've personally endured, it's hard for me to trust people. But because of where I am in my own spiritual journey, Reverend D's grace and strong, safe presence, hard work that I've done on myself over the years, and the consistent goodness that I've seen pour out of this community, I was able to lean into the support the church provided immediately. And this support has been an integral part of my own healing and that of my daughter. I was regularly visited by Reverend Denise, who talked with me and all of my friends and extended community because it was, a traumatic situation for a lot of us. She provided us with ongoing pastoral care. That part was great. She was so willing. If one of, my closest supports were willing to come to her, she was willing to have conversations, and that was tremendous in helping us get through this. We worked together to plan Austin's celebration of life, and she connected me with an entire team of people who helped me craft the most beautiful service a mother could ever wish to give to her beloved son. And there really are no words to give justice to how I feel about that piece, other than immense amounts of gratitude to have been able to do that, and my family and I couldn't have done that without this congregation. I'm going to give a shout out to Mike too, because he was really integral in all of that. Super appreciate it. Fast friends, and it usually takes me a while to become friends with someone, so that's significant. The church did so much for us in the aftermath of our tragedy. Too much for me to describe, but I will share a few examples. I was contacted by Mary Johnson, who asked me how the church could help. So she starts with this, kind of open-ended question. And then after we had that conversation, people started reaching out to me to coordinate dropping off meals to our home. And the food was wonderful, but I think mostly it was the connection of having someone come to my place and, you know, the smiles and the hugs and the support, not just the food itself. I also befriended Mike, who helped me install a beast, I'll say, of a shelving system in my basement, because my life got real messy real quick from the tragedy, and then also I had moved into a new place, so I knew it would help me a lot to get things organized, and it did. We got tons of monetary donations that helped sustain us during the months that I was unable to work, because I'm a counselor and I could not hold an emotional space for people for a while now, so that was huge. I also have what we called a memory book of Austin, so it's similar to a scrapbook, but Mary helped us coordinate that also. We put it together at his celebration of life, and people decorated pages, and as part of my healing, I pull that out from time to time, look through it, add to it. These are just a tiny little glimpse into the plethora of ways that this congregation has helped us and continues to provide support. I can say without a doubt, my daughter and I wouldn't be as healthy as we are and where we are today. And grounded is a word that is coming up in the service today. That's the perfect way to describe how it has felt with the support of this congregation, is helping to keep me here. I haven't had one single day where I spent the entire day in bed, horizontal. I've been vertical for the most part. I'm really grateful for that. Most of us probably don't know much about the back end of operations at this church and how much we depend on the congregation's kindness and generosity to serve as fuel for all the good work that our congregation does. Did you know that we are one of the most generous congregations amongst all UUs in how we support our members' memorials? I can vouch for that, personally speaking. In December, the Giving Tuesdays campaign hoped to raise over $20,000 to help continue the beloved work of this church and spread the kindness and change that UUs are known for. After becoming a single mom last year, I put my donations on hold, which I was nervous about, to be honest with you. We'll talk about money anxiety and stuff like that later. But the church was obviously very gracious and supportive of it and understanding. And once my finances were in more of a steady state, I made a $500 donation to Giving Tuesdays after in a service hearing that we weren't anywhere near our goal. Now is the time where we ask ourselves how we can give support to the mission of this congregation. Ralph Nader says we must strive to be good ancestors. Please give as generously and openly as you are able, and know that lives like mine and my daughter's will be positively impacted by your donation. Together, we are making a place to gather and grow the next generation of UU ancestors. Thank you.